standing there, ready to arrest her over a Facebook post. And the reason that she was shocked was because that particular post wasn't threatening anyone, nor was it calling for any sort of violence. Instead, she was simply commenting on the horrible quality of the water in the town's local water supply. Now, one of our senior reporters here at the Epoch Times, she actually went down to where all this took place to get the full story. So strap yourselves in, smash those like and subscribe buttons, and let's dive right in. The woman's name is Jennifer Combs, and she's a local independent journalist living in Navarro County, Texas. And she runs a Facebook group called Southern Belle Watch. Now, earlier this year, sometime in April, she began to hear reports of brown, murky, smelly water coming out of the local taps in a neighboring city called Trinidad, Texas. She then posted the following message on her Facebook group, quote, "We are receiving reports of possible water quality issues, including concerns about bacteria and unsafe conditions. We take these reports very seriously and are currently verifying the information. If your water is discolored, has sediment, odor, or if you or your family have experienced illness you believe may be related, please reach out." And remarkably, somebody did reach out. As I mentioned, the local police sent a deputy over to Jennifer's house to arrest her. She was then thrown in jail without bail for 23 hours. You see, what happened was that the local chief of police issued a felony arrest warrant against Jennifer, claiming that she violated a law which makes it illegal to knowingly initiate a false emergency. The local police chief, he even doubled down, saying that Jennifer broke the law by spreading false information and that it was a cut and dry case. That's what he wrote in a Facebook post following her arrest. He even arrested a local citizen who was protesting Jennifer's arrest outside the courthouse. However, the entire thing quickly fell apart. The charges were dropped when a grand jury declined to indict Jennifer based on the facts. The police chief and the municipal judge were so disgraced that they had to resign. And now, the city is facing a cavalcade of lawsuits, including one from Jennifer herself, who's seeking both monetary damages as well as punitive damages against the city government. And I want to go through a few of the specific points in this case because it really demonstrates how corrupt things can get without transparency. And so, rewinding the clock, you have Jennifer make her Facebook post and then get arrested for inciting a panic. And then the following is what took place. Quote, "A local citizen, Winston Knowles, known as Otto the Watchdog, was arrested for municipal disorderly conduct after protesting Combs' arrest outside City Hall with a sign containing an obscenity." And so the guy protesting the arrest was himself arrested on a disorderly conduct charge because allegedly the sign he was holding up had a profane word on it, and the police claimed that the profanity offended somebody. Now, even though we're in America, you're already thinking that doesn't even make sense, but it gets even stranger when you consider the following. Quote, "Colby Reyes, former city water clerk, was fired after she allegedly declined to file a complaint about being offended by Knowles at the behest of the police chief. Reyes refused, saying that she was not offended," meaning that the police justified arresting the protester by saying that this other woman in the city's water office was offended by his sign. But that was a lie. And when the woman refused to file an official complaint about being offended, she was fired by the city. But it gets even better. Quote, "Municipal Judge Shalina Bivens dropped the disorderly conduct charge against Knowles, finding no evidence that the water clerk had been offended by his protest sign. Bivens was then fired by the city." And so let me just recap what takes place here. You have a local independent journalist getting reports about something happening with the local water supply. She then puts out feelers to the local community on her Facebook group saying, "Hey, if you know any other stories about the local water, send them to me. I'll pass it along to the government. They can investigate." She gets arrested for inciting an emergency. Once she's arrested, another local journalist protests outside the courthouse holding up a sign. Then he gets arrested because allegedly someone is offended by that sign. However, the person offended, the water clerk, is not really offended. She refuses to file a complaint, gets fired, and then the judge drops the charges against the protester because nobody was really offended, and then the judge herself gets fired as well. It's like the plot of a bad movie. However, because all of this came to light, what actually wound up happening is that, for one, there was a wave of resignations, including the police chief, the city administrator, as well as the new water clerk resigned, and then the judge that was appointed after the other judge was fired, she also chose to resign. Then secondly, the Texas Rangers opened up an official investigation into the city of Trinidad, their local city government, to see all the corruption that was playing out behind the scenes, alleged corruption. And then thirdly, quite a few lawsuits have been lobbied against them. The main lawsuit comes from Ms. Jennifer Combs herself, the independent journalist who was arrested at her house, and here is the crux of that lawsuit. Quote, Combs then filed a civil lawsuit against former police chief Charles Gregory, the city, and others for alleged civil rights violations, including violations of free speech, false arrest, and retaliation. Combs' lawsuit accuses the city and its agents of weaponizing the law to silence a journalist who dared to inform her community about serious and credible public safety concerns regarding the municipal water supply. The complaint, filed in the Eastern District of Texas, Tyler Division, states that those concerns were validated when the city of Trinidad issued a boil water notice in April after Combs wrote the Facebook post. And that last part is really the gravy on top to this whole story, because Jennifer made her Facebook post asking the local community to send her any anecdotes that she might have about the water, so she can then turn that information over to the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality. And she was arrested for inciting panic, even though it later turned out that the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality had already received multiple complaints about Trinidad's brown drinking water and opened their own investigation into the matter before her Facebook post was even published. And shortly thereafter, they even issued a boil notice. These facts, they led Jennifer's lawyer to say the following, quote, "We have plenty of evidence that this was all a concerted effort to silence my client for uncovering and talking about the water problems there that they were trying to cover up." And then along that same vein, the lawsuit itself states the following, quote, "Rather than address the water quality crisis, defendants manufactured criminal charges against Mrs. Combs under a statute that, on its plain face, does not apply to her conduct. It has no application whatsoever to the act of a journalist sharing community safety information with the public through social media. Jennifer Combs' arrest was an act of deliberate political retaliation." And so this is where the case currently stands. The Texas Rangers are investigating the city government. Many resignations have already been tendered, and several of these lawsuits are currently working their way through the system.
For athletes, dancers,